In this video, I'll give you all the tips you need to know about traveling to Colombia. Tips that will help you avoid a lot of problems, unwanted situations, and get most out of your trip. Colombia is a beautiful, paradisiacal, and very touristy place, but there are many important tips that you need to know in order to make the most out of your trip, and that I wish you had told me before I traveled there. So here's a nice video. We have several videos from Colombia. This one is a summary video with the main tips and all the information you need to travel there, guys. So don't forget to give us a like. That thumbs up is very important for us. Subscribe to the channel because it helps us a lot, and buckle up. Hey guys, for those who don't know me, I'm Gabriel Lorenzi, creator of the Grupo Dicas, the largest travel content network in the world. And today we're going to talk about Colombia, what you shouldn't miss before traveling there. Colombia is on the rise because it's a country in South America with a very good price, much lower than, for example, Argentina, Uruguay, Chile, which are all becoming hot. But there are many important things you should know that are different from other tours and tourist sites in South America. First piece of information that I think is the most important, guys, when to go to Colombia. There are better and worse months to visit. From December to April is the dry season, they call it, which is the least rain and hottest season. I think it's the best option by far. If you can travel between December and April, I think it's great. December and January are the busiest, right? Everyone wants to travel there, New Year's, beach, vacation. So if you can get there at the end of February, March, beginning of April, those are excellent times. The other, what's the thing? It's hotter. Colombia, it's very hot, guys. It's already hot in those months, but it's their winter. In those months, it's even hotter and it rains a lot. It rains a lot. Can you enjoy it? Yes, it's not that you can't travel in the other months, but if you can choose and organize yourself, these are the best months to travel there, so you can enjoy the sun, the beaches, and everything. Still on the subject of the climate, one tip that not many people mention and everyone thinks is that Colombia is hot. Bogota is at a very high altitude. It's cold there and you need a jacket and pants. Research the time of the year when you're traveling, but bear in mind that the temperature in Bogota is one and the temperature in Cartagena, San Andrés is completely different, which is cities to visit in Colombia, guys. The main ones, guys, the two that I think are unmissable are Cartagena and San Andrés. They're both beautiful, paradisiacal, part of the Colombia Caribbean, incredible places, and also Bogota. I always like to include Bogota because it's already a gateway. Usually you have to fly through Bogota to get to Cartagena and San Andrés, so it's a stop there, stay a couple of days. So those are the three most popular. Are there others? Yes, there are people who like to go to Medellin. There are a few other cities, but in general, most tourists focus on Cartagena, San Andrés, and a day or two in Bogota, guys. Speaking of the cities, what order do you do these cities in? You usually arrive in Bogota because the flights is direct there and it's the closest to the countries of South America, Argentina, Brazil, Chile. If you're arriving in Bogota, what I usually recommend is go to Cartagena, which is a little further up. It's an hour and 20 flight, it's very quick, and then another hour and 20 you arrive in San Andrés, so that's more or less the ideal route. Then you return from San Andrés either to Bogota and on to your country, or directly to your country if you have a flight with another connection available. What do you need to enter Colombia, guys? Colombia is a bit different. It's more or less the same as countries in South America. You don't need a passport or a visa. At least you don't need a Brazilian passport. You only need your ID. It has to be valid. It has to be in good condition. It has to be issued at least 10 years after the date you're traveling, so it can be too old, but your ID is already the document you can get there if you're from South America. But there are a few others you need to include, which are the yellow fever vaccine. You must have the international yellow fever vaccination certificate 10 days before your trip, okay? There's no point, I'm going on a trip in 5 days, I'll run down to the clinic and get it. No, it has to be more than 10 days in advance, and the yellow fever vaccine lasts a lifetime. So I had it when I was 5-10 years old. Don't worry if you have the certificate. If you don't, go and look for it. It's not that difficult, right? Look it up on the internet, do some research, but you need it to enter Colombia. And another important document, it's the check-in, but it's super easy, okay? It's a migration form that you need to present in order to enter Colombia. You can fill it on the day at the airport when you're boarding. It's very quick. You can do everything online. Save your name here, check out the official website. There's an app. It's very easy, right? You just fill in your information, put it in and relax. You don't pay anything, right? It's free. If you want to go to San Andrés, you have to pay a fee, which is about $32 today. Everyone who goes to the island has to pay it, right? You pay it before you board at the airport. Tip: take cash, guys. Take the right amount in Chilean pesos so you don't have any problem, because some places don't accept cards or charge a high card fee, so always have cash on hand. I'll give you the tips on money, how to take it and how much to take, so don't worry. And on the subject of documents, immigration in Colombia compared to other South American countries, it's one of the strictest. It's not that they're going to stop you, calm down, there's no need to get desperate. It's just that they ask for more things. If you have everything right, there's no mistake. So they'll ask you for your ID, they'll ask you for the migration check, which is the form you fill in, the yellow fever vaccine, and your return ticket. Always have your return ticket with you. Don't travel with just the one-way ticket, because it could give you some problems at the immigration. And the accommodation, they'll want to know. They'll probably ask where you're staying. If it's a hotel, print out the hotel reservation. If it's an Airbnb, print out the Airbnb reservation. If it's at a friend's house, write a letter of invitation stating that the friend is inviting you. If you've got all this right, there is no problem. It's very easy. They're not gonna stop you. They just need to ask for these few documents. Speaking of money, which is the main question on everyone's mind, how do you exchange money? How do you take money there? Come on, guys. In Colombia, it's the Colombian pesos that are used there, which is what you'll be using. Some rare tourist places accept dollars, but it's not worth it. The conversion is not so good, so take Colombian pesos. What's the best way to get the Colombian pesos? In the past, you had to buy it at an exchange house. Nowadays, people, there are several digital global accounts. Very cool accounts that you pay nothing to open, nothing to maintain. You create an account in dollars. I'm going to explain the two I use today, which are very good. You create an account, you don't pay anything, and you start putting your money there and converting into dollars. What's the big news? This conversion is based on the commercial dollar. If you buy a dollar or Colombian peso in an official place, an exchange house, you pay the tourist dollar, which is much more expensive. And the card's IOF, much higher IOFs. If you use your credit card, you pay an average IOF of 5.3%. These are IOFs and taxes that make the exchange rate very high. With the digital accounts, you can load them in dollars at a very good rate, which is the commercial dollar, the cheapest of all, and you can use your account, your card, anywhere in Colombia in the world with a much better rate. The IOF is only 1.1%. There are lots of benefits. The one we use it already has a VIP lounge in São Paulo. There are lots of discount benefits, accommodation, lots of nice things. And with this card, you request the physical card, guys, because they issue it straight away. You get the virtual one to use in your Apple Pay or in your cell phone wallet, where you can pay by swiping. You can have a request for the physical card, and they'll send it to you within a few days. Request it in advance so you don't have any problems. You can withdraw money with this card, so when you arrive at Bogota Airport, look for an ATM, withdraw the money in the local currency. Your account will be in dollars, but you get Colombian pesos at a much better rate than if you go to exchange office. So it's a great option. I'll leave a link here, guys, in the description. Everything is going to be here below, which has all the links we use, and I'm also going to leave you with this global account which we use, the link and the discount coupon that we save, so that you can get up to $20 when you open your account, when you activate it, which is very nice and really saves you a lot. We're using it practically everywhere in the world, and it's saving us a lot of money. And if you're worried about saving money, I'm going to leave a link here in the video description underneath, a link that takes you to a page we've created with all the links and services for you to put together your entire trip in the cheapest places, saving a lot on everything. These are the places we've discovered over the years, the one with the cheapest cell phone chip, the ones that sell travel insurance for half the price of the agencies, the hotels we've stayed in, good and cheap hotels in the best locations, well located, the nicest hotels that are a bit more expensive, the tours websites that sells all the tours and excursions, transfer from the airport to the hotel, everything for you to organize your entire trip with great savings. And use the link, guys, because inside this page the links there have discounts built in, so save it, take it to your computer later, check it calmly, but use the link below because everything is already there with discounts, so you'll be able to save a lot on your trip. After 4 days in Cartagena, the flight from Bogota to Cartagena takes an hour and 20, an hour and a half, and it's very easy to buy. There are lots of options, and from Cartagena, you're already up in Colombia. You go even further up to an island that's isolated in the Caribbean Sea, which is San Andrés. It's a Colombian island, a paradise, and well worth a visit. The island isn't that big, and I would stay there since you're already going there. It's logical that you can spend 2 days there and really enjoy it, but as you're already taking the plane there, going to the hotel, carrying your suitcase, I think you should stay at least 4 days to get to know the island well. If you can stay 5 or 6 days, do it. It's a beautiful place, there's lots to do, but I think 4 days is good enough. That would be 2 Bogota, 4 Cartagena, and 4 San Andrés. Gabriel, I'm staying for 12. Put one more destination in each one that you think is the most interesting. Look at the pictures, the places, because they're all really nice to see. In San Andrés, the beaches themselves are beautiful, so take a day to explore them. There's a mule rental, which they call a golf cart, that you can rent because you can't rent a car there. You can rent these on the Tickets and Excursion website. You can rent these mules if you want to do it in advance. You can take a day to rent one and take a tour of the whole beach, getting to know the beach, the island, getting to know all the beaches around it. There's a trip to Johnny Cay, which is also a beautiful island, well worth a visit. There's also the Aquarium Island, Aquarium Cay, which is very nice. These are tours that you go on by boat. They pick you up. It's very cool. It's worth doing. It's an experience, guys. The sea there is one of the most beautiful in the world. It's very beautiful. You'll be impressed. And it's hot. A lot of people ask that, but is the water warm? Yes, you can rest assured that the water there is warm. It's very warm all year round. You'll be able to enjoy your trip very much. When you go back to San Andrés, you can see the best route for you to take back to your city or to the country where you live. If you want to go directly, if you can find a good connection, or you can go back to Bogota and take a direct flight. Colombia is a place where I don't recommend driving. Here in Orlando where we live, I highly recommend it. Miami, there are cities. Italy, we rent a lot, but for Colombia, you don't need a car. You can do everything on foot if you're well located, and by car if you want to be well located. In the link below, you'll find a map on each of the 3 cities with the best location selected. It's a customized map that I created. Take a look. It's the best possible location in each of the city, but you can do everything on foot and by cab or Uber. San Andrés doesn't have Uber, but Bogota and Cartagena do, so you can easily get around in these ways, guys, so you have really no need to rent a car. And the cab tip. We've experienced both in Colombia and Argentina cab scams. When we arrived from the airport to get to the hotel, they charged us a fortune and drove around a lot. We don't know, we're carrying suitcases, it's another language, we end up suffering this in many places around the world. One tip we're doing to solve this problem 100% is to take a transfer. There are several companies that sell this service. You pay in advance for a car that will be waiting for you. It's like a cab, an Uber. The driver will be there with the license plates, with your name on it, and the exit from the airport, from the migration. Then you get out and go with him to the car. He'll help you out with your bags and take you straight to the hotel where the name you've sent will already be registered. There's no danger of them scamming you. It's all straightforward. It's very safe. They're accredited companies. We've done it a lot. On the website describing the tickets, tours, and excursions, you can find transfers from practically every airport in the world to the tourist center to your hotel. We think it's a very good option. And speaking of scams and security, I'm sure you're wondering, Gabriel, but what about security? I've heard that Colombia is dangerous. How so? Isn't it dangerous? How did you feel there? Guys, here's the thing. I'm very honest, very sincere. There are people who sometimes have opinions, don't like it, get angry. But my role here is to tell you the truth. What I went through there, because I know that I influence people to go to places. I don't want you to go to a place thinking it's one thing and it's another. Colombia compared to Chile, Argentina, I found a bit more of a sense of insecurity. Nothing happened to us, but I felt a bit more, fewer police, the streets are empty at night, so you have to avoid them a bit. But we're from Brazil. I've been from São Paulo all my life. You just have to take basic precautions, right? We've never heard of anyone suffering anything there. What I was a bit annoyed about, even a hint, were the salespeople. They're very insistent and very pushy. In Cartagena, we were very uncomfortable. We even went back to the hotel one day. It was me, my wife, and my daughter in the walled area, taking a walk in the tourist area. They clearly saw that that we were tourists, that were not Colombia at all. Livia still with her big red hair. They saw it there. They were all over us all the time. They wouldn't give us a break, and they were even a bit aggressive, you know. They kept pushing things to see, but look at my handicraft. You're offending us. Then you say, well, let me see. That's nice. Then you look, now I have to buy. They were very high up. It was the only situation, right? So my tip is be prepared. Say no a little politely, but a little, don't fall for it. Don't make conversation. If you start talking there, you end up buying something, a picture. They'll want to help you. Oh, let me take the family picture. Let's take it with the background. Don't let them. Say no, thank you. I don't want to. Otherwise, they'll charge you. That was the only thing. It was more in Cartagena. In the others, it wasn't so much. It was in the tourist area. I don't know if it was the bad luck of the day, but it was the experience that we had there. So I'm here to tell you the truth. You just have to be prepared for those things and not give space for them to do things for you. And accommodation, guys, there's a lot of choice in hotels there. They're not expensive, but there's one tip that saves you a lot of money. We should book as far in advance as possible. This is true for all places in the world, but there's a very good strategy that we've used to save money, which is free cancellation. The website we've linked to for all the hotels, the personalized map, which is here at the bottom of the page. It's a website. It's the biggest in the world for hotels. I'm sure you know it. And because it's so big, it has free cancellation deals with almost all the hotels. So you go in, you've seen a nice hotel, you know you're going to travel or you're planning to travel on the date, you book it. If you want to cancel later with free cancellation, you cancel with one click. There's no bureaucracy, you don't pay anything, but you guarantee that amount. We've seen when we've gone, especially to Cartagena, which is the most touristy, I've seen prices go up 30%, 25% in a week or two because they run out of rooms. They automatically raise their prices. So try to book as early as possible and in well-located places. These are two tips for getting good, cheap accommodation. And another important tip is the water. Be careful. Try to focus on bottled water because we've heard many cases of people getting sick, having stomach problems with water that sometimes come from a filter, a tap, even from a glass in a restaurant. So try to focus on just a little bit to make sure you don't ruin your trip. Oh, and speaking of water, an important detail, okay guys, a tip from San Andrés, which I wish they had told me about, but they didn't. It's the Caribbean, but it's not the giant all-inclusive resort you see in Cancun, Punta Cana, Aruba. It's very different. The structure there is much more rustic. That's why the cheapest Caribbean destination, the natural beauty is incredible. It's just as beautiful as the others, but you have to expect that they're not those resort hotels. They're much simpler hotels. Very few are all-inclusive. It's just one chain that has an all-inclusive, just so you have your expectations aligned. And the water in some bathrooms isn't hot, okay, in the shower. So research the hotel first, check it out. The one we've listed in the description, which we've already stayed in, had hot water and was everything nice, but they're not the resort style that we usually see in the Caribbean places and the Caribbean videos. And another very important tip, guys, talking about water, the heat, it's a Caribbean destination, the beach, you can get sick, you can get something, it happens, it can happen. Don't travel without international travel insurance. It's very important, guys. It's mandatory in Europe, so you can see how important it is, and it's cheap. For $3 a day, you can get very good, cheap insurance that will cover you for any expenses you may have. If you get sick, go to a hospital, see the doctor. We've already had to use it, and believe us, you save a lot of money and save yourself a lot of trouble on your trip. There's a travel insurance comparison website that compares all insurance companies and finds prices at half the price of travel agencies. Take a look. It's very cheap and super well worth it. We always use till today, and we totally recommend that you hire. And that's it, guys. I hope you liked the video. If you like it, please don't forget to give us a like and subscribe to the channel because it really helps us a lot. And don't forget the other videos, which are very good. I'll leave the two other very important ones for you to plan your trip to Colombia, guys. So thank you very much and have nice trips.